All right, let's get into it. We are talking about Howard Hughes. I mean, think about this guy. He was a pilot, a tycoon, a filmmaker, an aerospace engineer. He was a national hero, the inspiration for Tony Stark even. But he was also a deeply, deeply troubled man who ended his life as a paranoid recluse. This is a story of a man who literally had everything and then lost it all to his own mind. You know, this quote pretty much says it all. Howard Hughes he's living proof that money absolutely does not solve your problems. In fact, sometimes it just makes them bigger. His life is a totally fascinating and honestly a deeply cautionary tale. So when you think about our modern billionaires, with their wild spending and kind of peculiar personalities, you're really thinking of a template that Howard Hughes created. He's the guy who put the eccentric in eccentric billionaire, but it's his spectacular downfall that really truly sets him apart. And that right there, that's the big mystery we're going to unpack. He was this celebrated hero, a Hollywood icon. How did that man die a shabby, paranoid recluse? What on earth went so wrong?
Well, to answer that, you really have to go back to the beginning. Back to an inheritance that was just as much about mental health as it was about money. His entire life really was shaped by what he was given as a kid.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. This dual legacy. From his father, he gets incredible wealth and this expectation to achieve greatness. But from his mother, a socialite with a severe germ phobia, he inherits this deep-seated anxiety and fear. It's this wild mix of risk-taking and intense phobia that really defined him, even when he was just a young prodigy building radios and learning to fly. Can you just imagine this for a second? At 16, his mother dies. Then, just 2 years later, at 18, his father has a fatal heart attack. He's still a teenager, he's reeling from grief, and all of a sudden, he's in charge of a massive business empire. And we're not talking about a small nest egg here. His inheritance was worth about $18 million in today's money, and it came with a business that was basically a cash machine. So at 18 years old, he had a lifetime of seemingly limitless wealth. So with that kind of money and total freedom, Hughes didn't just sit back and relax. Nope. He launched himself headfirst into two of the most glamorous and challenging industries of the era: Hollywood and aviation. This was his golden age. Just look at this number. It shows you the scale of his ambition. He didn't just want to make a movie. He wanted to make the most expensive, most spectacular movie ever. He poured his own fortune into Hell's Angels, a film so dangerous to produce that 3 pilots actually died during filming. But at the very same time, his passion for film was matched only by his obsession with flight. And he wasn't just some wealthy hobbyist. He designed, he built, and he personally flew his own planes to shatter world records. For a while there, he was a genuine American hero, getting ticker tape parades and everything. And his business instincts, they were just as sharp. After he gained control of Trans World Airlines, or TWA, he was eventually forced to sell his shares. His payout? A mind-blowing $500 million, which is the equivalent of nearly $5 billion today. But, even at the absolute height of his success, the cracks were starting to show. The public saw the dashing hero, but behind the scenes, he was becoming this erratic, paranoid, and incredibly controlling figure. His meddling crippled his own companies and tormented the people in his life. The actress Ava Gardner, one of the many stars he dated, she really put it best. In private, he was deeply controlling. He would hire investigators to monitor the women in his life. For Hughes, power was everything, and his relationships often became a living hell for those trapped in them. And this is where the story takes its really dark turn. The paranoia and the obsessive tendencies that had been simmering for years, they finally just boiled over. It led him to withdraw from the world entirely and create a prison of his own making. His behavior just became incredibly bizarre. He holed himself up in a screening room for months on end, naked, watching the same movies over and over again. His phobia of germs got so bad, he started wearing Kleenex boxes on his feet. He would only communicate through written notes, and he became addicted to morphine to treat chronic pain from an old plane crash. His immense wealth basically enabled this bizarre seclusion. I mean, in one legendary story, he was staying at the Desert Inn in Las Vegas and just refused to leave when his reservation was up, so instead of checking out, he just bought the hotel. That's how he solved problems. He did it again when he got tired of the local TV stations signing off for the night. What was his solution? He bought a local station and ordered it to play movies 24/7. He essentially invented late-night broadcasting just to satisfy a personal whim. So what we're left with is this really tangled legacy. His final years were a portrait of extreme self-neglect, and yet his impact on aviation, on film, and even on Las Vegas is just undeniable. So was he a tortured genius, or was he simply a man consumed by his own illness? He died at age 70 on a plane en route to a hospital. The news and the photos of his frail, emaciated body absolutely shocked the world. The dashing hero was gone, replaced by a ghost. His death from kidney failure was the direct result of years and years of extreme self-neglect. And this brings us right back to that central question. It's easy to say he was a spoiled man who just refused to be told no, but it's also true that medical science at the time had no real way to treat his severe obsessive-compulsive disorder and his paranoia. In the end, the very obsession that fueled his genius, the drive that built record-breaking planes and epic films, was the exact same force that completely consumed him. For Howard Hughes, genius and insanity weren't just two sides of the same coin. They were the same tragic metal, forged together in fire,